Right, so I need you to frame this for me, Sam, because I understand the Owls fans being so excited. They finished last season, they were the seventh best team over the last 23 games. Everyone thinks Danny Roll's brilliant. Everyone loved him on the Euro coverage. They go into the start of this season. They smashed the first game 4-0. But Plymouth were awful. And we need to talk about Wayne Rooney and the situation there. Where are you with Wednesday? Do we need to temper the optimism and the excitement here, or are they right to be kind of carried away here, the Wednesday fans?
No, I think the supporters that watch them week in, week out will be realistic about this season's targets. I think it's only fun and right and natural to have that excitement. But I think, given how last season went and probably some of the squads in the division in comparison, it's still going to be a tough ask to be in the higher echelons. I think they can be really hopeful of being in the top half. I think I said that on last week's podcast, or certainly they were my surprise package going into the season, given how well they did with, not a particularly bloated squad or quality squad last season. You look at the side from yesterday, the fullbacks immediately jump out to me. Valerie on one side and Lowe on the other. I think there was times last season when he played 4 centre-halves across the back, and that was probably the predicament that they were in. And now they've got really flying, attacking wing-backs who are going to take the game to the opposition. So I thought that was a standout moment for me. I think we spoke often about the imbalance in the midfield, and Barry Bannon looks to have the perfect partner, or certainly someone to really complement what he brings in Ingleson. I mean, his take and his delivery for Jamal Lowe's opening goal was a thing of beauty.
We haven't got to Worldie of the Week yet, Sam. Move on.
Yeah, that was a thing of beauty. And, every kind of ingredient you want from a team, a good goalkeeper, they got that, solid centre-halves, pace in the wide areas. At the moment, if I was put on the spot, I'd say Jamal Lowe, despite his fine debut, he's not someone I'm going to bank on, getting double figures maybe in the Championship. But with Ike Ugbo now waiting in the wings, I said last week again that I thought that was the kind of final piece in the jigsaw to get them towards the top half of the division. And nothing's going to change my mind after that outstanding win. So, yeah, it was a great display, and he just continues to impress, doesn't he, the manager they've got. He's going to kind of win them loads of points, isn't he? Because he's that good, a manager and a coach from what we've seen. He overachieved with that squad last year. Now he's getting the squad to match his qualities.
Yeah, and the confidence is a huge thing as well, isn't it? Because you remember the start of last season where they couldn't buy a point, Sheffield Wednesday, and they're coming into this one. And we do have to temper all this by saying that it does feel like where Plymouth were yesterday, that most teams would have beaten Wednesday. There was a comment in the chat as we were going, really excited, but realistically still be happy in the top 10. Is that we don't necessarily imagine Wednesday are going to be smashing out an automatic promotion challenge, but this is great improvement from where they've been, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can't discount that, because look at some of the storylines we've had in the last few seasons. Luton being up there and Coventry. I think Sunderland was a surprise when they got in the playoffs. So
Huddersfield,
I absolutely, you can't rule anything out. And like I said, the manager is that good. Is the depth there? Not sure, but the balance of that side that they were able to put out there was superb. I think, my opinion on Argyle is you just have to hold back, because the national narrative now, the people who don't cover the intricacies of the Championship and the Football League will be out for Wayne Rooney. Let's just give him a little bit of time. I think he's conducted himself brilliantly this summer. I understand that the lads have really taken to him.
Sam, can I just debate with you, though? This is horrible. 4.59 XG Sheffield Wednesday got. And you can argue that anyone going in there was going to struggle, given how Plymouth ended last season with the director of football coming in. But I take your point. Let's not get ridiculous. 10 shots on target Wednesday had as well. It was a dreadful, dreadful performance, wasn't it, Sam? You got to admit that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and hugely in contrast to last season. If you remember them going to Watford and being quite un-Argyle like in, being really defensively well set up. And I know the away record wasn't good last season, but I just thought it was a valid point to make that comparison. I think there's an argument to say that he maybe tried to blood too many new players. When you look at, Hardy came on, didn't he? I think Randall was on the bench. I think there was options there, and clearly the players didn't look like they had that chemistry yet, which is understandable when you've brought in Paulson, the new fullback, Sissoko, obviously in the wide positions, Tajani up front, but not to have any kind of attempts of note, really. I think there was a couple, wasn't there, maybe late in the second half, 7 touches in the box. The new striker I just referenced didn't have a shot. I don't think Whittaker had much of an impact at all. So, all the things that have been good and all the things we were hopeful about didn't really come out in that performance. So, loads of concern, but it's one game. It's one game, and I'm not going to get too carried away. Like I said on previous podcasts, I'm someone who is really, I'm sceptical about Wayne Rooney as a manager, but I'm hopeful because I like a lot about what he says and how he articulates himself as a pundit now, and I admire him for taking this gig. So hopefully this isn't a sign of things to come and they can get some points on the board quickly just to alleviate. Yeah, obviously, I don't like the what's the terminology? The jump on or whatever you call it.
Pylon.
The pylon. Sorry, because I just turned and flicked the radio on a couple of times today, and it seems to be one of the lead stories, and that's probably because there was only one game in the Championship yesterday. But come on, let's give the guy a chance. And that's the players yesterday, lethargic. Was it the second goal? I think it was Gazzama on the left-hand side. Whoever put the ball in, I can't quite remember. But there was 2 players in the vicinity. Nobody went to stop the cross. The last goal was kind of pre-season. The way that Bannon was just stroking it around on the left-hand side. It was the Olays were out, weren't it? So, and another thing, the goalkeeper situation. I'm not sure entirely what's going on there, but you got your best goalkeeper on the bench at the moment. I don't think if they're going to play better football than Hazard, who was in the goal yesterday, he probably couldn't do anything about the goals, granted. But I think if you're going to want to play a little bit more through the centre halves, you need a keeper who's a little bit more adept at doing so.
There you go. I'll round this out by saying amazing start by Sheffield Wednesday, but we're clearly going to learn more as we can see them tested against some different opposition who are maybe a little more ready. I agree with Sam's take. It's very easy to personalise all of this to Rooney just because he's such a big name, but it does feel a bit silly, but we'll see how it all pans out.